Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. My preferred candidate from 2008 is running again in 2016, buddy. That would be Hillary Rodham Clinton.
All right.
H-Rod, Hill Dog.
Or Rodman.
Rodman, yeah. She, boy, I was really invested in that in that 2008 caucus for her. I almost got punched by an Obama voter.
Well, because that's how Because lucky he wasn't in control of the drones then.
I guess, dude. Yeah. No, I made some comment about how I didn't think that Barack Obama's foreign policy experience was any different than Mitt Romney's. didn't go over very well,
and entirely accurate.
Well, I don't like to misspeak if I can help it. Sometimes I do, completely unintentionally. But no, Hillary. Boy, it's here's what's interesting about Hillary's campaign so far. That aside from the fact that she just. Everybody says she's going to win. Every expert, the media, political scientists, pollsters, everybody continues to say she's got an easy path to the nomination on the Democratic side. And boy, it doesn't feel like that, does it? Boy, oh boy, it does not.
Why do you think her campaign's toileting?
That I don't know. I think that it's suffering from it's not suffering from the. Here's what's interesting. I think this is part of it. In 2008, Hillary ran her campaign, or her campaign was run by that schmuck who well, why don't you make that that case?
Looks like we have an emergency. So, well, I'll tell you why I think. One, you don't reach grassroots hardcore supporters, right? And you don't convert people that are on the fence by holding a lottery to see if you can come in and meet her. You don't see a single Republican doing that, but you have to go in and apply to be in one of these things. They will let you in with a donation of $10,000 or more. Now, I'm a heavy funder of the Republican Party. I have never given $10,000. I can't afford it. I don't know many people who can. So, and keep in mind, that isn't just going to be millionaires voting at the caucus. We don't have enough. These are people that are hardworking. People, operatives like Jill Ellsworth, who, works hard and, does well for herself, but she doesn't have any extra money to spend on that. So if she was in the Democratic Party, she'd never meet Hillary. Hillary has done a good job of fencing herself off from the people who are going to vote. I think, personally, it's because she has been treated so poorly by the press. And a lot of Republicans out there go, oh, no, she gets a pass. No, she doesn't. I don't hear anybody else being criticized for the hairstyle outside of Al Gore. That was so obvious, right? But she gets a lot of heat. The other thing is this email scandal, she didn't handle well. She tried to run and hide and bury it, which is what the Clintons do. That's not going to work anymore. When Bill Clinton ran, he could do that because there wasn't an internet. And the bottom line is her excuses as to why we have over 130 classified emails on her server that were exposed, right, potentially to spying. Honest to goodness, you're like, well, no, that excuse isn't going to wash. She didn't handle it right. She's trying to dodge it. She's now up in front. I think that's having an impact. And the last thing is she's running the stealth campaign. I can't remember what they call her band. Do you remember what they call her band? Scooby-Doo or whatever. They're always trying to find out where she's at. Well, Scooby-Doo's here, Scooby-Doo's there, whatever they call that thing. So she goes in, does her thing, and goes out. Now, I happen to know a couple of wealthy liberals. I know that sounds kind of weird, but they exist, that have been to these things, and they have told me that she might get a crowd of 8 people. One time their maximum was 15 one time. And out at the state fair, she's cloistered off by herself, not letting anybody in, not letting anybody do anything that's going to help her. She's not giving a lot of speech. She gives up there and gives the typical speech. She doesn't say anything substantive. She doesn't say anything different. And she waits until her political advisors tell her what to say, and she says it. and releases it to the media. The bottom line is here in Iowa, that's not how you do things. You have to go out, you have to meet the people. Most people, whether they're Republicans, Democrats, or independents, want to meet these people so they can get a measure of them. You can't get a measure of Hillary by the way she's doing things. And I think that's why her poll numbers have dropped. There's multiple issues going on. She's still, the other thing is Bernie Sanders is now starting to raise more money. And even though Hillary still is going on at a good clip, she's also facing challenges from Jim Webb. Jim Webb's out there all the time. He's beating the grass. He's getting a lot of people. Not like Bernie, but you have to consider Jim Webb and Bernie Sanders are not only pulling people from the hardcore left, but they're also pulling moderates and conservative Democrats. They're also sneaking over some liberal and moderate Republicans because I like some of the populist things that they say. Doesn't mean I agree 100% with everything. I definitely don't. But they're saying some things that resonate with people. Hillary has not bothered to respond. She has not attacked him. She has just kind of pretended he's going to go away, and he won't. And now Joe Biden is threatening to open up yet another front. And that's going to be Hillary's real threat. Don't get me wrong. Maybe Joe and Hillary beat each other up and they don't finish anywhere, and that allows Bernie to finish, to get the nomination. It's the same scenario on the right. We have, I think there's 17 Republicans in there. I've lost track. And out of those 17, 14 of them are under 7%. Well, what that means is, Huckabee isn't doing well. He's not gaining traction. I think this Common Core support that he had really cost him, number one. Rick Santorum, I think he's running just to try to see if he can go anywhere, and he won't. He's a single issue individual, and that's abortion. That is the third rail of politics, and particularly in presidential politics, you can't make that your centerpiece, which is what he does. And so he's not going to go anywhere. So you have a couple of very Christian conservatives that are splitting a lot of that vote. Rick Perry's a Christian conservative. He's splitting a vote. So you have a lot of people that would normally be going with arch conservatives, and they're all split among their own groups. Every single one of these people have gotten key Republican people to operate in Iowa. Like Scott Walker. He's got Chad Earhart, who's a heavyweight. He's got Brad Zahn. He's not pulling above 7%. So you have the Republican field being split along our party base. So you have essentially 14 people splitting the Republican base. And at some point, somebody's going to, and at before the caucuses, several of these will drop out. They'll drop out. They'll throw the support behind somebody and will solidify. But right now, it's kind of fun. It's like watching popcorn bake, like the old Jiffy Pop popcorns. You'd sit there and you watch it for a while, and then pretty soon a lot of stuff's happening. That's what's going to be occurring between now and December. Of course, the Democrats don't have that many people on that side, so it isn't nearly as exciting. But it's very telling that here is Bernie Sanders with hardly any money mounting a significant challenge. And I mean a significant challenge to Hillary Clinton, much like Barack Obama did. Now, back when Hillary lost to Barack Obama, she was a little bit more available. But the bottom line is she has 6 years as Secretary of State, and she did a miserable job at it. Lefty will disagree. Since he's not here, I will tell you that Lefty will disagree, and she thinks that, she did a great job. She didn't. She bungled a lot of stuff. Of course, Kerry replacing her, he's bungling even more stuff, right? So, when Lefty starts talking about foreign policy experience, this is Hillary's legacy. She is a victim of his inexperience. Now, we've come up to a break. We're going to take a quick break. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors, Bertrosian Associates, Lubinas Law Firm, Halo Capital, Des Moines Interest Rates, Des Moines Anesthesia PC at 515-574-6442. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and visit our website, docandlefty.com. By the way, Des Moines Anesthesia has offices here in Des Moines and in Fort Dodge, and they do pain management and anesthesia. And finally, I just want to tell my friend Jason, I am not a cuddly socialist. We'll be back right after this break.